Hello, my name is Beth Shea Bryant, and I serve as Chair of Community Supporters for Responsible Shrewsbury. I would like to thank Shrewsbury Media Connection for extending an invitation to speak on behalf of Community Supporters for Responsible Shrewsbury. We are a ballot campaign committee led by volunteer Shrewsbury residents advocating for a yes vote in the special election on Tuesday, February 4th. Voting yes is the responsible choice for Shrewsbury. A yes vote will put Shrewsbury into compliance with the MBTA Communities Act without triggering any additional development other than what is already in process under a different state law. Keep the zone between routes 9 and 20 close to the Westboro-Northboro town line and reasonably close to the Westboro commuter rail station. And keep Shrewsbury eligible for state grant programs benefiting Shrewsbury taxpayers and helping to improve our local infrastructure. The MBTA Communities Act was enacted on January 14, 2021 as part of an economic development bond bill. The law was bipartisan, proposed and signed by a Republican governor, and passed by a Democratic legislature. The principal goal of the legislation for communities to adopt zoning that allows for multifamily housing. There is no requirement for this housing to be built, and the zone can include existing structures. Communities that do not comply with the new requirements will be ineligible for 29 state grant programs, such as MassWorks, Housing Choice, and Local Capital Projects funds. These are grant programs that Shrewsbury relies on to improve our water and sewer systems, upgrade our road infrastructure, and attract commercial development to lessen the burden on residential taxpayers. The town of Shrewsbury worked for over 2 years to develop a zone which would bring Shrewsbury into compliance with the law without spurring growth that would unduly strain local capacity. Public engagement in the development of Shrewsbury Zone was sought and welcomed through several community forums, public hearings, and an MBTA preference survey. Prior to being considered by town meeting, Shrewsbury's plan was subject of both public and professional review, discussion by town council and professional staff, along with the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities and the Attorney General's Office. The plan was unanimously recommended to town meeting by the Select Board, the Planning Board, and Finance Committee. Shrewsbury drew a 3A compliant zone in an area between Route 20 and Route 9, relatively close to the Westboro commuter rail station. The zone includes existing apartment complex, Shrewsbury Commons, and 2 other multifamily developments already moving forward under Chapter 40B, which is the aforementioned different state housing law. These multifamily developments will be built regardless of the outcome of the referendum. Shrewsbury's plan also includes a requirement for developments that create more than 5 units to have 15% of those units be affordable at 80% of the area median income. This helps Shrewsbury reach its overall goal of 10% affordability across town. Town meeting is the legislative body for Shrewsbury. It's made up of 240 residents representing each of the 10 precincts. A special town meeting on November 18, 2024. Town meeting members deliberated for over 2 hours on this zoning, referred to as Article 9, even amending the article to remove language unrelated to the law. While only a simple majority was required, town meeting members voted overwhelmingly to adopt the proposed zone by a vote of 123 to 50. At the time of the vote, the Supreme Judicial Court, SJC, decision on constitutionality of 3A was still unknown, yet town meeting members had enough confidence in the process that Shrewsbury undertook in developing a path to compliance with 3A that they voted in favor. On January 8th, in response to a lawsuit brought by the town of Milton, the state's SJC ruled that 3A is both constitutional and enforceable. On January 31st, the town received a letter stating that Shrewsbury's zone satisfies the requirements under 3A. That means that a yes vote to uphold the action of town meeting will bring Shrewsbury into compliance with the law. By rescinding 3A zoning plan adopted by town meeting, Shrewsbury will move towards violation of the law. The SJC has held that the law will stand as constitutional and the Attorney General can sue Shrewsbury for noncompliance. The Attorney General's lawsuit against Milton outlines possible remedies she might seek in court, including an injunction to prevent the town from enforcing its current zoning laws, imposing additional fines, or appointing a special master to draw a compliant zone for us. This would mean a state official and not Shrewsbury residents would determine where our compliant zone is, opposed to the zone established by our own elected town meeting. Shrewsbury taxpayers will be responsible for legal costs related to any lawsuit. Milton's legal costs are approaching $300,000. It's also important to clear up a couple of misconceptions. The SJC has upheld this law as constitutional and enforceable. Those urging a no vote have focused undue attention on a set of specific guidelines to enforce the law being tossed out for a procedural reason. It is important to understand that these guidelines were set aside for procedural reasons only, and the court did not take any issue with the actual content. The governor has put in place emergency regulations which, in effect, continue those guidelines while permanent guidelines are developed. The administration has stated very clearly that these guidelines will closely mirror the prior ones. The idea that Shrewsbury should vote itself out of compliance with the law in belief that the guidelines will change is not based in reality. The administration has made very clear they are pursuing comparable guidelines. It is also important to understand that those urging a no vote are not suggesting an alternative location for Shrewsbury's MBTA community's compliant zone. They are suggesting only that Shrewsbury non-comply with the law. The answer to the question before voters is clear. A yes vote upholds the vote at town meeting and keeps Shrewsbury in compliance with state law. A yes vote ensures that we decide where our compliant zone will be located. A yes vote controls growth while unlocking state resources for us. Yes is the responsible choice for Shrewsbury. Please join me in voting yes this Tuesday, February 4th.